A very warm welcome to StudyIQ, my dear friends. I am Prashant Mavani. I hope you all are doing good. Today is 8th December 2020. Day is Tuesday. This is the English version of the Hindu analysis. The Hindi version is already available on our channel. I would like to start today's discussion with this line: great power is unleashed with simple start. Dear friends, if your mind, if your heart, if your intuition, if your soul is telling you to start something, let's say your mind is telling you to, your inner self is telling you to start maths practice or reasoning practice or current affairs or exercise or whatever it is, right? Don't wait. Please don't wait for the perfect scenario or opportunity. Whatever resources you have with you right now, just start your journey. Don't worry about perfection. Just try to do a little bit good. Even point percentage improvement is better. And remember, action is always better than thinking too much about something. So start your journey today itself. When you start something, and the best time is when you start your day. If you are a morning person, then let's say maths practice or exercise or current affairs, whatever it is, right? You should do it first thing in the morning. Of course, when you wake up, you take your shower and brush your teeth or have your morning coffee or tea, whatever it is. After that, when you start your work, the first thing that you should do is start that thing that you want to start. Start your day with the thing that you want to start. If you do it for a few days, you'll get used to with it. It will become your new habit, and the byproduct is confidence. This is how you unleash confidence. You have to do it. Think about it. With this difference, if you are preparing for UPSC Prelims 2021, then we have launched a test series. Till 14th December, 50% discount is available on all our test series. To find out more about it, visit this website, that is testiq.in. You will find the PDF of today's lecture on my Telegram channel. If you have not, then join my Telegram channel. If you have learned something from today's discussion, then please hit the like button. You'll be very helpful to me and our channel if you can share this lecture on various different platforms. That would be a big help for us for this particular series. And don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. The first article that we have is transparency is vital. Pfizer sought Indian regulators' nod, Indian regulators' green signal for emergency use authorization for its mRNA vaccine. Now, I'm sure, dear friends, you know how mRNA works. They can ask you this question in your prelims examination. They can ask you this question in your interview as well, like why mRNA is much safer compared to our traditional method of making vaccine. I have explained this thing to you a few days ago. I think it was last Saturday or Friday. So if today is your first day, if you have just started this series or following this series, then I reckon you guys to check out my Saturday or Friday video. You'll find the explanation of mRNA in that video. Then Pune-based Serum Institute of India has also approached Indian regulator to get a green signal for its vaccine called Covishield. Unlike Pfizer, AstraZeneca, which is carrying out the third phase trial of Oxford vaccine in 4 countries, is yet to secure a nod from any of the regulatory agencies in these 4 countries, of course. As we all know that we all are eagerly waiting for a COVID vaccine, of course. But we find this thing in various different countries, India included, right? Including India, we find this thing that governments are creating a sort of pressure on regulatory bodies to fast track the entire process. Now remember, of course, we need, as I told you, we are not just fighting COVID-19 vaccine, we are fighting against time as well. But that does not mean that we compromise with safety. We cannot have unsafe practice when it comes to medicines and vaccines. And transparency is something that will build people's confidence. Once you will find this thing that once we will get the vaccine, then you will find so many people, they will say that this vaccine is not effective, and after taking this vaccine I'm feeling a bit dizzy and I'm not feeling well and I'm feeling this and that. So we don't want that scenario, do we? Of course not. If we have this sort of scenario, then what will happen is that even if your vaccine is good, if you don't create a right campaign, right information campaign about the vaccine, and if your process is is opaque, then trust issues or lack of trust will be a big issue, and then no one will believe in your vaccine. And we don't want to see this thing. So lack of transparency about vaccine safety and efficacy does no good in gaining people's confidence and willingness to get vaccinated. The other thing is, it is better to have a proper vaccine rather than having an unsafe vaccine or ineffective vaccine. We are coping with COVID-19 from last 7-8 months now. For another 2-3 months, we can wear masks, we can maintain social distancing, we can compromise with our social and cultural programs and other things for few months, right? But whenever we get vaccine, we have to get the best one, right? The safest one, the one without any side effect. So government should not be in such a haste, and it should not create pressure on these regulatory bodies to deliver a quick vaccine that is not peer reviewed. It is important that those seeking emergency use authorization share the safety and efficacy data immediately. So this is the reason why the title of this article is Transparency is Vital, of course. The second article is West Asian Outreach. This one is from Pioneer. Now, dear friends, remember yesterday I gave you a task, a homework, that you need to spend 10 minutes behind this map that was displayed in yesterday's lecture, and I told you to read that article at least 3 times. So it was 30 minutes task? I think 28 minutes task, isn't it? Or max 30 minutes task. I strongly believe those students who have sincerely followed my instruction, you will find today's discussion very easy, and you will find that your knowledge or your capacity has expanded just by reading this article, yesterday's article, and going through the map. Now, we were talking about West Asia. Remember, we talked about Look East and Act East, and then we talked about Look West. So Look West is about West Asia. Our Army Chief, General M.M. Narwane, is going to visit Saudi Arabia and UAE. This clearly indicates that relationship between these countries of Gulf region or Arabic countries and India, relations are improving. In last 6.5 years, of course, we talked about this thing that after 30 years, Prime Minister of India visited UAE in 2015. And was it 2015? Yes, 2015. And after that, we saw high-level visits from there and from here as well. Many Arab nations normalize their relationship with Israel. And this is a good news for India because Israel is a good friend of our country. We talked about this thing. Remember that when it comes to this part of the world, West Asia, then you have like a triangle. On one side, you have Iran. Iran is arch rival of Israel, and vice versa, of course. Israel and Arabic world, Arabic countries, right? They don't get along with each other very well because of this Palestine issue, and Iran and Arabic nations like the Saudi Arabia and UAE and other countries, they don't get along with each other. So you have these 3 power centers in this part of the world. But when it comes to Iran, these 2 players, they join each other backed by USA, and they are against this country called Iran. Now we have good relationship with Iran, we have good relationship with Israel, relationships are improving with Arabic world, with USA, with Palestine as well. We have good relationship, so we have to keep a fine balance here. We cannot just take sides. And this recent past few months ago, UAE and one more country, I think it is Bahrain, right? These 2 nations signed an accord with Israel. Now, I have one question for you. Can you give me the name of that particular accords? It's called Dash Accords. So give me that name. I have one hint for you. Yesterday we talked about that particular word was mentioned by me in yesterday's lecture when we were talking about that United Nations and its particular body about various different religion. Remember? So this is just a hint. I'm not giving you the answer. I want you guys to think about it and stick your answer in the comment section. Now, Pakistan. Pakistan has always provided misinformation about India, about Kashmir to Saudi Arabia, UAE and OIC nations in general. But in recent past, we find that relation of Pakistan with Saudi Arabia and UAE has deteriorated. Saudi Arabia is upset with Pakistan switching alliance. Pakistan is now much closer to Turkey, and Saudi Arabia is not happy with this thing. Second thing, Saudi Arabia has always funded Pakistan, and they have this treaty that if we go for a war, then we need your soldiers, and they have this sort of pact that Pakistan will provide foot soldiers and other military gears and personnel. But when Saudi Arabia seeked Pakistan's help and personnel for Yemen, Pakistan declined, and that was like a backstabbing for Saudi Arabia. So Saudis went so far as to recall a major loan from Pakistan, and UAE stopped issuing visas to Pakistani citizens. So this is an opportunity for our country to isolate Pakistan when it comes to diplomatic world. India will also need to tread a tightrope. Saudi and UAE have bitter relations with Iran and Qatar. We have good relationship with Qatar now. Saudis and UAE, right? Saudi and UAE, they say that, or other Arabic countries, they say that Qatar is having good relationship with Iran, and Qatar is promoting terrorism, and Qatar is all those things. So because of that, back in 2017, Qatar was, I believe, kicked out of this Gulf Cooperation Council as well, and Egypt. Then it was UAE, Saudi Arabia, and it was Bahrain, right? These nations, not Bahrain, but I think it was Kuwait. These four nations, they stopped, or they cut their diplomatic relationship with Qatar. But in few days ago, I came across this news item that Qatar has indicated that it is ready to build a relationship with these nations, and these nations have said that we are ready to build a relation with Qatar. So things are improving in this part of the world. India has to maintain amicable relations with all the sides because of both commercial and military reasons. So I think this is not going to be that difficult for us. Now, we have earned respect, diplomatic respect of all these nations, because we stood on our ground. We are looking directly in the eye of China. So this has earned us respect in the eyes of Arabic world. Besides, India continues to provide skilled manpower to Arab nations. We talked about it yesterday. And the only thing that we have to wait and watch is for the new US administration, Mr. Biden's administration. What will be his policy as far as West Asia or Middle East is concerned? We have to wait and watch. But I think things are going to move in right direction. We have to be a bit cautious about Iran and Israel's recent issues about this nuclear scientist assassination. So that is a big, you can say, big topic or big issue. Let's hope that this will be solved by Biden administration. Moving on to next item, very inspiring journey, very inspiring person that I find, this man, he is very inspiring. His name is Ranjit Singh Disale. He's from Maharashtra. He's 32-year-old. He's an educator. He's a teacher. And he is a global ambassador for all the teachers, all the educators, or online, offline, everyone. This man, Ranjit Singh Disale, is the winner of Global Teacher Prize 2020. He won $1 million for his outstanding work in promoting education among the category of students most in need, unprivileged kids and students in remote part of our country, and particularly girls. So hats off to this gentleman, Ranjit Singh Disale. Right, I'm impressed. I came across his, this current affair, and I read few things about him via this article and some other stuff, and I'm so touched that he's so creative, and he used this. He realized that language was the biggest hurdle. So what he did, he translated the textbooks into mother tongue of these kids. Not only that, he used unique QR codes to give students access to audio poems, video lectures, stories, and assignments. And this has delivered. This efforts of Ranjit Singh has delivered the twin challenges of our society. The first one is 100% attendance of girls. He achieved that thing. And the second thing is the place where he was active, right? Those villages recorded a 0 teenage marriage. So this is very interesting. This is very outstanding. And not only that, he used this online platforms, international online platforms, to connect young people, youngsters, with the aim of advocating peace across conflict zones in India and Pakistan, Palestine and Israel, Iraq and Iran, US and North Korea. Many students were not able to afford, practical field trips. So he used virtual field trips so that at least the students can have, a virtual tour of various different, various different locations, various different important things. And he has this goal as well: teach, don't preach. And what he did, this is really amazing. He won $1 million, and he has decided that he will share 50%, that is $5 million, with other finalists to support their incredible work. Look at this man. He is a guy with a golden heart. And this guy, Ranjit Singh, is an inspiration. He's a ray of hope for all those people. Many times, we think that the world is bad, and whatever you do, no one is going to, means everyone is bad. We generalize things. But people like Ranjit Singh, right, they are example that don't worry about other people, whether they are bad or good. You give your best. If you start a positive change, then other people will join you. And they will provide more energy, their time and resources and so many things to carry on the work that you have started. And what better than training young minds, igniting young minds? This guy reminds me of APJ Kalam sir as well. Kalam sir has always, tried to, people say he was a scientist and president, and yes, he was a scientist and everything. But I think Kalam sir was a student, and Kalam sir was a teacher. A very curious teacher, I would say. So curious side is his, student side, that he's always ready to learn something. And then he's not just keeping that thing with himself. He is using that knowledge, that thing that he has learned to share it with other people. And then he's trying to inspire so many people. So that is amazing work. Like creating leaders, right? That's the best thing that you can, the best resource that a country or a society can have is human capital, human resource. So again, a big salute from personally me, from StudyIQ family, and from all my dear students, right? I salute this man, Ranjit Singh. Rebuilding from debris. Now, Joe Biden is going to officially take over as president of USA from January 2021. Hopefully, everything will be on time if we don't find any sort of issues coming from legal issues or legal challenges from Trump administration or Trump's team. Mr. Biden, who at 78 will have to work tirelessly towards two goals. The first one is he has to undo the damage done over 4 years to domestic and international institutions, alliances, and strategic goals. And the second is to heal the bitter polarization of American politics. The first priority is going to be COVID-19, because we know that in USA, most number of cases in the world are in USA, and the highest fatalities are in USA. So number one priority is going to be COVID-19, a scientific way of handling COVID-19, mask wearing, social distancing, and effective vaccine distribution plans. So that's going to be his number one priority. The second one is going to be economy, of course, stimulus package for businesses, for job market, creating more jobs and bringing people back to work. So this is going to be his number 2 task. The first 100 days in office, as far as international relations are concerned, he will work to rejoin WHO as well as Paris Climate Change Agreement. He's going to cancel Mr. Trump's executive orders, and he's going to allow skilled workers visa, green cards, as well as limits. He's going to remove the limits on entry for students at university offering mainly online courses. This idea of creating a wall that will be funded by Mexico, right? Creating a border wall between US and Mexico, this will be dropped forever. And the most important thing that Mr. Biden needs to work on is to eliminate or to get rid of this hate that we find between these two political parties, Democrats and Republicans. Throughout this 2020 campaign, we saw this hateful and very aggressive discourse, very, very cutthroat, aggressive, very bitter discourse. And this is not healthy they are rivals, they are competitors, but they are not like they should not behave like bloodthirsty, cold-blooded enemies. So he has to get rid of this hate that we find in today's USA. A duet for India's urban women. Very interesting article. Now, dear friends, we know we have MG Narega when it comes to rural people or rural, unskilled, or those poor people who don't have any land or things. So they have this safety net called MG Narega, but we don't find something similar when it comes to urban poor. So we need something that can look after our urban poor, because they are exposed to serious contingencies like lockdown and floods, cyclones, financial crisis, and they don't find that many jobs. And when job market is down, they are left with nothing at all. They have no safety or any sort of guarantee work like MG Narega. So with the help of public distribution system, we can provide them this food security. But food security is not just enough for your survival as a human being. Dignity is also means doesn't matter if you are a very poor person. Then as well, if you are doing something, if you are earning your bread, that will not only you are not earning bread, but you are also earning respect and dignity. So yes, we need to provide food security to them. Nutrition security is also important, or I would say food security should have nutrition security as well. But anyway, that's not just enough. We need to provide something, we need to provide them employment. And for that, this article, the writer is suggesting decentralized urban employment and training duet. So how it works is like central government, state government, union territory government will provide job stamps. So what is job stamps? Job stamps is like a voucher, So all those public institutions like your universities, hostels, schools, hospitals, health centers, museums, libraries, shelters, jails, offices, departments, railway stations, transport corporation, so on and so forth, right? Let's say if you are a university, if you are a chancellor of a university, vice chancellor of a university, and if you think like this compound wall, right? Just imagine that your university is very big and you have very long compound wall. Very long compound wall around your university. So if you want to whitewash it and if you want to, upgrade its fence and things, then what you will do is normally you will apply for you will issue tender and then people will apply and things like that, isn't it? But if you have job stamps, like government will issue you, let's say 100 hours or 200 hours or 300 hours worth of job stamps. So you can hire people. You can hire people on temporary basis, right? You can give them odd jobs and small projects. You don't have to ask anyone, you can use it, and then you have to show your results and things, of course. Then you have the process, but this will make it easier. So all this work. Now, when it comes to our public property, right, we need repairs, and there are so many things that we can do: street cleaning, beautification, maintenance, and so many things. So we can hire these people, and we can have an independent placement agency that will look after assigning works, and that will keep an eye on this job stands, whether they are not to make sure that they are not misused and things like that. And there are various advantages as well. You don't need special staff, you don't need to provide any sort of special facilities, and the good thing for the worker is that they will find work within their city, and they will earn minimum wages as well. There is no dearth of possible dual jobs. As I told you, dismal maintenance of public premises is a big problem. So we can maintain our public premises, and we can. The added benefit is that, just imagine if you have you need 10 workers for a month. So out of this 10 workers, if you have 2 skilled workers and 8 people are new, or they are not that skilled or semi-skilled or unskilled, when they will work under the supervision of these 2 skilled workers, then they will also learn. If they have finished 5-6 projects like that, then they will have this experience of working in that particular thing. May it be wall building or mason work or carpentry or electrician or whatever it is. So this will help in training our unskilled workers, right? And this article is also suggesting that we need to have not just reservation, but we should give preference to women workers, right? And part-time employment should be a very important option. Like, let's say a lady can work for 4 hours a day. So she would be able to earn money. At the same time, she would be able to keep a fine balance, looking after children and kids and elderly people, or she can complete her family responsibilities. And remember, the economic dependence of women on men is one of the prime roots of gender inequality and female oppression in India. So this will help women quite a lot. And it's not just about our women, it is for our society as well, because as per NSSO data of 2019, only 20% of urban women in the age group of 15 to 19 years spend time in employment. So this is going to be win-win for everyone. This article is also about skill, investing in India's youth. Now, we know that under Right to Education Act, if you are between 6 to 14, then RTE guarantees free and compulsory education. But it is based on books and written examination. Now, in today's world, in 21st century, we find that just bookish knowledge is not enough. Practical application of skills is a very important thing. And there are so many people, right? They learn more stuff from practical work. You have a sort of basic education, that's good, but if you're doing manual work or something like that, then you will learn so many things when you are out there in the field. So technical and vocational education and training, TVET, can play a very important role. And in our country, we have this Skill India mission that is going on. Since last few years, we want to convert our country, or we want to make our country a skill capital of the world. Now, UNESCO's State of Education Report for India 2020 says that vocational and education training is something that is still lacking in our country. So we have a huge opportunity here. As I told you, the example, like if you work with few skilled people, then you will upgrade yourself. You will learn new skills. And TVET graduates, they find a job much easier compared to graduates, and they get paid as much as university graduates. And there are so many employers, they complain that they don't find skilled candidates for jobs. But TVET, if you have more TVET graduates, then that will solve the problem. The other thing is, as per our new education policy, it aims to provide vocational education to 50% of all learners by 2025. And schools are encouraged to start vocational education from 6th grade. So this is going to take a little bit of time, but we are going in right direction. But TVET is something that we need to start to work on. We need to train our people, give them practical exposure. Based on that, we need to change our courses, right, syllabus and things. And this will be win-win for those people who are seeking job. On top, you can have this duet as well. So duet, TVET together, and education system, if we can create this coordination mechanism for interministerial cooperation, then this will deliver good results, and it will help our economy as well as people to get back on track as quickly as possible. And that's everything from my side. Thank you very much for watching this particular video, of course, and the Hindi version as well. And please make sure that you download the PDF and go through the important things that we have discussed today. If you are preparing for UPSC, then we have a smart course available as well. Find out more about it on our mobile app. I will see you soon with daily financial news analysis. Dear friends, on 10th of December, I'm going out for a marriage, so I won't be able to deliver any of the lectures. I'll try if I can deliver, but can't guarantee. So on 10th I won't be available, but yes, tomorrow I'll see you with daily financial news analysis today, and tomorrow I'll meet you, of course. Enjoy your studies. God bless you all. Jai Hind.